What's happening, everybody? Welcome to a Ghost Recon Wildlands video. Now in today's video I'm doing a special collaboration with my friend Carbonmeister. Some of you may actually already know him. We're basically going to be talking about PvP, our feelings, our thoughts, your thoughts and all your expectations throughout this video. How are you doing, Carbon? How are you doing?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
This is long overdue.
I know, man, it's months and months into the game. We should have done this like 5 months ago or something crazy. So as I said, we're going to be talking about PvP in general.
Right.
Yeah. Man, where do we begin?
This is the hot topic right now. This is the hot topic.
It's all the things that people want to talk about. And I mean, I think the first thing everyone wants to know about is, without a doubt, is the release date, isn't it, really?
Of course.
So what information do you have? Because Carbon actually has information on this that I haven't seen. I've heard about it, but you've got the files. So like, what are your screenshots? What's the information you got?
As far as when we should be seeing the open beta for the PvP, we should be seeing it sometime within, I want to say the end of August, maybe sometime September, but the end of August is kind of iffy because they said summer, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, they said summer. So, I mean, by the end of the summer, that's the goal that they've basically said, guys. So anyone asking about that, the release date supposedly for the open beta, they publicly already spoke about this, is supposedly the back end of summer. When you look at the dates, the last day of summer is the 22nd of September. So it could be as far back as September, or we could be expecting it like back end of this month. What do you think?
Which honestly is not too bad. Like if we think about it, September 22nd, that's not too bad. Yeah. But the fact that it's open beta September 22nd, that's true. What's
the open beta.
That's scary.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's
now let's talk about the official release.
Oh yeah,
that's what's going to be scary.
That's the thing everyone wants, but this is the scary one. Yeah, so okay, so the open beta, guys, is meant to land in the summer. Okay, before the end of the summer. We know that's now the back end of September at the very latest. But that's only the beta, like you just said there, Carbon. What about the actual full release? Like, what about the full beta? Like, not just the beta. We know everything, the PvP in its entirety, ready for its development. What happens then? So what do you know about that? Sorry, like
as far as the full PvP when it's coming out, they've said that it's slated to come out in fall, which is super scary because fall. When does fall end?
Well, 21st of December. Like
You see how scary that? That makes me shiver in my pants right now.
It's funny as well because you call it fall and we call it autumn in the UK.
Yeah,
that's cool. Like
I realize that.
Yeah, but the full release ends on the 21st of December. So.
That could make or break, honestly. I feel like that's really far away, and I honestly don't know how to feel about that.
There's like what 5 major titles are going to release between now and December.
Exactly. I mean, one of the big ones being Destiny 2. That's going to pull a lot of attention. I've heard so many rumors around the community of people saying that they're going to leave for that, and it's scary. Yeah. It's really scary.
You've also then got COD. You've then also got things like Star Wars.
Major title.
Yeah.
Star Wars too.
And then you got loads of minor titles that release throughout each of the months coming as well. So I mean, it's pretty scary. So ultimately, guys, when we refine it down to the fact of what we've heard, what we've seen, open beta should be coming in the next 4 to 8 weeks, and somewhere between.
But at the same time, let's look at it this way. If I'm sure they're very much fully aware that all of these major titles are going to be coming out, and they're not scared. Obviously, they're not as scared as we are. Yeah. So maybe that means that they're coming out with something super good.
Yeah, well, I mean, from the trailers, if we look at the trailers, though, we do see lots of action. We see fast-paced gameplay, slow-paced tactical gameplay. We see variety, and I mean, when we looked at it, this is obviously something we'll discuss after we just briefly talk about the trailers. Say, for example, there's obviously the small maps that we see the 4v4 game modes. Even if you go through the workshops, you see Amper Camper, he discusses that there's like a one life game mode. Now, I don't know whether that's one or of the multiple game modes. If the reason is multiple game modes, that's something to discuss as well. And it kind of sounded like an S&D from Call of Duty in the sense of you die, you're out type thing. I mean, that's the vibe I got. What vibe did you get from the trailers?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Like, we were talking before we started recording, how it kind of, like, I would assume that it would be like something like an S&D from COD, which would be once you go down, that's it, you're done. Yeah. But I mean, I guess. But
then again, they said in the trailers it showed something to do with revival, so that's what. Then I started looking at the other factors on screen, and I thought, well, maybe the main concept is a mix between S&D and something else. And that along the top of the screen they had the different items, the different classes for your teammates and the enemies. That reminds me very much of Rainbow Six. So,
and I mean, we can also think of Destiny PvP as well, which is once you go down, you can actually be revived throughout the game.
Oh.
That would be something cool.
So it's like like Destiny. It would be almost a, you know, no self revival, but a teammate revival.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I mean, I get that vibe.
That would be really cool. I personally would think that would be awesome.
Yeah. I'd prefer that, to be honest, than just a one and done out. You know, if you die and then that's it, that's going to leave a lot of players in limbo. I think that could be a better way to do PvP, like, without a doubt. I mean, looking at the maps though. What's the the pros and cons of the maps?
That's the big controversy right there. I was just gonna ask you about that. Now, how do you feel about the maps? Because we've been hearing a lot of talk about them being super small.
Yeah.
Which I mean is not that bad for a 4v4. But how do you feel about that?
Okay, so personally, I think there's something that's missing outside of PvP. I feel like that the full game, I know we've already spoke about this on stream. We've had community managers in streams of both of ours speaking about it with our audience as we were live, saying. Basically, the only reason that they haven't got like a large open world where 100 people can join in and play in Wildlands is purely because of the fact they want to stick to the story of the 4v4. And obviously, this is where I had a concept of maybe you could have Unidad versus the Ghosts, and then the Rebels versus the Unidad and the Ghosts, and at the most you could probably expand to like 12 players in a map. You know what I mean? But, if they wanted to stick to the story, that is. But I honestly feel like they could really. Capitalize on the fact that there are so many Unidad, so many Rebels. You know, you could have game modes like Ghosts versus Rebels, things like that inside of PvP. But when you look at the size of the maps, everyone wants the full map, everyone wants a large area, and then you find that as time's gone on, some people have actually become accustomed to the smaller map ideas. Like, I don't know what your audience says, but you know, it's a mix, man.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that a few weeks ago I made a video talking about how they were thinking of making, well, at least the CEO said that he was thinking of making a Player Unknowns type of DLC for a game. They didn't say Wildlands. They just said a game, one of their games. The thing with that is I did a little research, and for them to make, I don't know how to explain it. Their servers are peer-to-peer. Like they can't actually have lots of people in a lobby. Like they're not capable of doing that. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's a 4 versus 4 in a small map because of that reason, and we might not see more. But if we did see more, I would say maybe like you said, a 12 versus 12, or maybe a 6 versus 6. I wouldn't mind seeing that. As a matter of fact, I would love to see that.
I think if it's a small compact area, as long as it's not too small, and it's not too big, I think they'll allow for the conflict. So I think from what we've seen in the trailers, that does seem to happen. So I think as long as it's fast-paced, but then it can also be stealthy, you know, by getting the correct size, like a medium-sized map, like a selection of an area, say, for example, because I've already broke down, like, some of the maps that we've seen in the trailers, and we've had a look around the areas, and there's the chance of it being humongous or it being very, very tight, you know, so...
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I watched your video, and I mean, the maps look pretty damn big. I mean, they look, as far as the pictures, they look pretty small, but if you really get to it, it's not that small, not for 4 people at least.
Yeah, I know, it's definitely not a larger area. And then the other thing was, I've been thinking about the custom games. Now, you'll know that when I created the custom PvP videos, which a lot of people went, they're clickbait, they aren't, it's just me capitalizing off a subject everyone cares about, and that's why everyone calls it clickbait. But the custom games I came up with, we know that Ghost Recon themselves tweeted me and even stated that they liked the idea of the custom game. I was doing the time trials with the helicopters, and then there was an article written that you sent me, wasn't there? You know, and
it's smart. Like it's a smart idea, and they liked it. They clearly liked it because they've been showing a lot of attention to your whole custom game idea. So who knows?
What do you guys in the comments, if you listen to this now, like what do you guys think about custom games? You know, say for example having a standard PvP mode, but then maybe on the side having a set of different challenges. So you know, you'd go into a different mode, and in that mode there might be more players, there might be less players, there might be a challenge you have to complete, it might be a timed race. You know, I mean, it could go anywhere, to be honest. It's down up to your imagination.
Yeah, like to give an example, it would kind of be like if you play GTA adversary modes from GTA, something like that. That would be cool.
Dead on, 100%. Yeah. So I mean, I think they should include custom games, but I mean, we could keep breaking down all the things we've seen in the trailers with ease, but what do you think is going to lead to the success of PvP when it does land? Especially with the timing that it's going to be landed in. It's going to be landing in the most heavy duty area ever. Like, you know, what do you think? What do you think?
I don't know, man. I feel like no one's going to see the potential of PvP unless advertisement is right.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree.
That's honestly how I feel.
No, I agree. I mean,
but I mean, let's talk about the fact that they're already taking a good step into the advertisement.
Yeah.
I mean, they just released a few days ago the fact that you can play the game for 5 hours for free.
The trial.
That's a huge step right there.
Yeah, it is. Course. I mean, the trial in itself is going to hopefully bring more players in. Like, I mean, logically, the way I would say it, okay, they release the trial, give people a taster of the game. I mean, a lot of people, man, millions and millions of people purchased this game, and they played the beta. Like, you and me were looking at the viewer statistics. In March, guys, like 45,000 people per hour were watching the game, playing the game.
Insane.
And then now it's dropped down to anywhere between 2,000 to 5,000 at the most per hour. You know, that's a massive drop in player base. And it's just because there wasn't enough to keep people captivated. So I think with PvP, if they advertise it enough, like you were saying before, with the games already being owned by those 45,000 plus individuals, well, they sold millions, didn't they? You know, the people who own that.
Yeah.
If they advertise PvP as much as they advertise the game, they could bring people on. What if PvP was almost like a, you know, not just a DLC extension to the game? What if it was like another game on the store itself? Like, that's another concept, man. Like,
that would be crazy.
Something separate from the actual game itself that anybody who wanted, like, you know, like how PUBG is, where you download it, it's a concept, you go in, it's player versus player. Imagine if Ghost Recon did that. What if they've released PvP as a separate thing to the actual game itself, but then used PvP to advertise Ghost Recon? I've only just thought of that. Like, imagine.
But I mean, at the same time, if they did, it kind of makes sense though, because an open beta for a game that's already released, how would people be able to, you know?
Yeah.
I guess you're making a good point there.
Yeah. No, I think it's a possibility. But then, if they don't, so they need to advertise it. They need to advertise it like to a crazy amount.
Sure.
Twitter advertisements, Facebook advertisements, Instagram advertisements, even Snapchat if you really want to go that far, you know. Maybe even get people like ourselves on board to do some advertisement of like things, maybe getting some early access to it before anybody else can get early access, just to promote it for the guys. Maybe some giveaways, things like that. Honestly, there could be anything, numerous amounts, but I think honestly if they get PvP right and they raise the player base, then that could open up for what I'm thinking of a season 2, and you know where I'm going with this.
Yes.
You know, so you can carry that on, man. Season 2, we spoke about this just before.
Season 2, man, I would love to see a season 2 for DLC.
Honestly,
I don't know what they could introduce. That's the thing. I don't know what they could bring to the table, and it's pretty scary to even think of what they can bring to the table, especially with Narco Roads. That was a super scary DLC. I know that.
Yeah.
We
Ghost,
definitely.
That was the bad boy. That was the one.
Yeah.
You know, that was.
But the thing is that because of the fact that Narco Roads left such a sour taste in everybody's mouth, and no one gave Fallen Ghost a chance. Yeah. Which really sucks.
So once again, I think PvP needs to be advertised crazy. It needs to raise the player base to, like, no, it won't hit the height it had when the game first landed unless it's a separate game itself and it's advertised as a separate game, but still under the Ghost Recon title. And that's an idea in itself. I don't know though. But then, if they released a new DLC, they need that player base to be higher. And that's it, really, isn't it? You know, and
yeah, I mean, you would raise your player base by pushing out PvP to the point where there's so many people that it's just insane.
I mean, I'm looking forward to the future of it, man, and I think we've covered pretty much everything in the basis of it. This is just our general feelings and thoughts, and hopefully somebody from Ubisoft can listen to this, see what we think. And I mean, our opinions aren't just our own opinions. Our opinions are created from a mix of our audience.
Yeah, this is based off of just comments that we've been reading over the last few months.
Yeah, they're like 5 months. So, I mean, in general, man, I think we've summed that over as much as we possibly could. I think PvP...
I know that a lot of people have been asking us about PvP for a while, like at least for us to talk about it. So, I mean, it's good that we got to do this at least together.
Yeah. I figured putting it in one place, it means that we're going to get, you know, it's a good comparison because it shows that every creator seems to be on the same page, or at least you and me are on the same page with the feelings of it.
Right.
I mean, we only wanted to do this video because ultimately we sit in private and we just discuss this over and over again, and we go over everything and we try and think up ideas and ways we can improve it and have our part in the play, you know. So I think, guys, we just, you know, sat down and thought, let's put this together, let's create it for everybody, and I just hope that everyone enjoys you know, the whole process of it, you know. I mean, we could even do an elaboration upon this in the live stream one time if you're up for that as well.
I'm totally down for it.
Sick. Well, thank you, Carbon, man. It's been class talking to you, and I hope we can collaborate on some more videos in the future, man, without a doubt.
Thank you for having me, man. Dope, of course. Man.
Same on your channel. Shout out to Carbon's audience as well, man. His channel will be linked in the description, guys, so you can go check him out, drop him a sub, and take care of yourselves. We'll see you in a future video. My name's B7, also known as Martin Lee Wood. Like and comment on all that you love. Peace!